Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy Watch 8 and compare it against the Google Pixel Watch 3 and see which particular type of device is the better one for you. Now, the thing I can definitely tell you when it comes down to both of these particular watches is that they're both very good. I still think for a lot of people out there, if you're going to go through and pick up any sort of watch, you're still going to be able to get a very good type of experience between both these types of watches. So that's kind of the big thing to keep in mind. Also, if you're planning on buying a Galaxy Watch or Pixel Watch, the cool thing too is that they're both basically supported on the exact same type of devices. So if you buy a Samsung or Google Pixel, whatever Android phone you have, you can go through and pick up, some sort of Galaxy Watch or Google Pixel Watch from that particular side. So that's kind of a big thing to keep in mind there. But when it comes down to the outside and the exterior, the design is a little bit different now than it was before. So before we were getting, on the Galaxy Watch 8, the Watch 7 in particular, was basically giving you this really good type of experience, and I really think that type of experience was pretty good when it came down to it. With the Watch 8, it's a little bit of a different type of design now. This type of watch is basically going to be giving you this square to circle type of approach. I think it looks good. It's not anything super insane, but I would imagine that if you're looking at something like a Pixel Watch 3, that type of design might look better. They both come out in two different sizes, so you can spec them out to be the bigger size or the smaller size. Just kind of depends on which one you prefer. But when I'm looking at these types of watches, I do think the design of the Pixel Watch 3 kind of looks better to me than something like a Galaxy Watch 8. However, the display on the Galaxy Watch 8 gets way more brighter. That panel gets 3,000 nits of brightness, where the Galaxy Watch 8 basically will go through and get, I think it's 2,000 nits of brightness. 3,000 on the Galaxy Watch 8, 2,000 on the Pixel Watch 3. The rest of the bodies are slightly different here too, so you're getting very similar types of build qualities. As always, they're going to look and feel very good, and that's always something that I like having between these types of devices, because you're able to go through and get, a really good feeling, really good performing type of device from that side, and I do think that in and of itself is a really nice thing to keep in mind there. However, another thing to keep in mind here too is basically the bands. The Pixel Watch 3 now gives you the capability, it gives you the standard capability of changing out your bands and stuff, but with the Galaxy Watch 8, we now have the capability of kind of going through and basically changing out our bands in a much nicer way. So it's not as annoying as it was before. And that was one of the, if not the biggest problem that I was personally experiencing there with the Pixel Watch, with the Galaxy Watch 7, was that I was constantly having to change my bands in such an awkward way, but that is not the case anymore. So I'm very, very happy about that. So when it comes down to the exterior, definitely something like the Pixel Watch. So when it comes down to it, definitely something like the Pixel Watch 3, I think is still going to feel pretty good, but the Watch 8 might be the better one now, although I do miss the little circular type of design, to be honest. Now, I think another thing to keep in mind here too between both is that with the Galaxy Watch 8, this type of device I think is probably going to be giving you the overall faster type of watch, but you have to remember that when it comes down to these types of watches, you're not really going to be playing games between these watches. You're not going to be doing anything crazy like that. You're just going to be using them to check notifications and maybe check some health stuff here and there. Beyond that, we're not really going to be using our watches, at least I don't use my watch, for anything super insane or super powerful. So I say that to say, if you're planning on buying a watch like this, you're probably still going to get a pretty good type of experience and a really good time between either one of these. Neither one of these are going to be the, most insanely performing great thing in the world. So they're both going to be great from that standpoint. But like I said, there might be some better ones out there that might be giving you some better options here and there. So when it kind of comes down to it, I really do feel like both these types of, watches are giving you a pretty good type of experience. I feel like if you're going to go through and pick up something like a Galaxy Watch 8, this is still giving you a really good type of experience. It's a brand new watch, and it's a very fast watch at that. It's an excellent performing watch. I feel like with the Pixel Watch 3, the fact that this thing is basically a year old now, I think is actually going to be giving you a pretty good experience when it comes down to it as well. That's kind of the one that I'd recommend a vast majority of people to go ahead and buy too, especially if you have a Google Pixel. But I feel like the Galaxy Watch is the better one here and there. I feel like those ones typically give you better types of experiences here and there. And I feel like if I'm going to go through and pick up a watch, that might be the one that I'd recommend some people to go ahead and buy. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.